This is Akashvani Chennai. Good evening, listeners. We welcome you to our weekly program in English. Tonight, we bring to you an interview titled Custodians of Canopy. Talking on the importance of forests and much more is the Principal Chief Conservator of Forests and Head of Forest Force, Tamil Nadu, Shri Srinivas Reddy, IFS. He is interviewed by Vice Principal of A.M. Jain College, Dr. R. Elangovan.
June 5th is going to be the World Environment Day. That is quite important to all the humans and other living creatures in the globe. And the whole world is very much bothered about environment. And we the people are more concerned about protecting this environment which we are going to leave it for the next generation. In that outset, we would like to invite Principal Chief Conservator of Forests and Head of Forest Force, Tamil Nadu, Mr. Srinivas Reddy, IFS. All India Radio is very thankful and very happy to invite Mr. Srinivas Reddy. Welcome to the studio, sir.
Good evening, sir. It's my pleasure to be here.
Before I start, would you please tell me a few words about environment?
Environment is a very vast topic. It basically encompasses all the landscapes that we have, the various ecosystems, the climate, and all the living forms which are existing in this planet. So it's quite a all-encompassing thing.
Okay.
So in that context, when we talk about environment, basically we talk about the changes which are happening there, the degradation which is happening there. And there are these webs, the living forms, which thrive and do their thing in this world.
Okay.
When there is a slight disturbance and change, its implications are felt all over, and that is what draws our attention.
Fine, sir. What is the one environmental rule on the books that we are worst at actually enforcing? And what would it take it to fix that?
We do have plethora of rules and regulations, and most people generally know exactly what's the problem. But the issue is doing our little bit of how to ensure that that degradation doesn't happen.
Do you mean to say that the stakeholders must be more aware about this?
Yes, we need to increase that awareness. There are awareness at basic levels, and there are also the doubting Thomases, because the environment's impacts are not easily seen. What we see are day-to-day changes, but these global projections which come from scientists, they are quite alarming. But it is not felt by a common person in a day-to-day.
Because the people got stuck between their day-to-day lifestyle and there is no time for them to think about the entire universe. But the people who are very much concerned about environment, they try to encourage and tell us that this is going to happen in another 20, 30 years. And the people who have to execute and enforce this, what are they going to do? Are they going to put it in rules alone, or practically are they going to enforce it with the support of all the people around?
Definitely all the stakeholder support is needed. It is not by a single department or an agency to handle all the complexities of the environmental changes. But what is generally felt is even a common man understands that things are deteriorating. He sees that the weather is much hotter. It wasn't there like this a couple of decades back. Particularly the older people. They tell about the scene of the changes in the various weather patterns. Monsoons, they're not setting in time.
Torrential rains.
And we have these unusual weather events.
Yes.
We have cloud bursts happening, long spells of drought. So the entire weather pattern changes, which is normally observed by a common person. We are not able to attribute scientific reasons to it, but they are able to understand that there are changes which are happening.
Do you mean to say that it is all because of humans in this universe?
It's largely because of human activity. Because what we find from the forest departments, my personal experience also again, all animals are very predictable, except human. All animals are predictable. We know exactly how they behave. It's only human with our sixth sense or whatever that we tend to do types of damages, do actions which have far-reaching consequences.
Well said, sir. What is the most damaging environmental myth that people in this country still believe?
Generally, like I said, there is a difference between climate and weather. So climate is a larger context, weather is a day-to-day event. They only focus on weather.
Okay.
That why is it hot today? Why is it hasn't rained today?
Okay.
It is expected. But the climate change is a much longer time span of event.
Yes.
So in that context, the larger myth is, particularly in even in some developed countries, that the climate change is actually a myth. What is happening is a regular weather event. This is how things happen. There is another school of thought. So what the scientists world over are trying to emphasize is that this is not true. All the computer modeling, the climate modeling predictions do paint a very dismal picture of future if we carry on the way we are doing today. Business as usual will not work. We are growing in numbers. Our activities are influencing and having impact on all other life forms in a variety of ways. We are polluting our environment. We are spewing all the toxic gases into the air. We are warming up the atmosphere, trapping the heat, which has other consequences, right from the plants and even the smaller life forms. So everything is getting impacted. But that focus is not there. I see my day's activity. I do not bother about what is the impact. I take my garbage, my plastic, and just toss it. It is out of my house. I do not bother where exactly it goes and lands up and how many years it will lie there.
Sir, as a principal conservator of forests, how do you feel about forests? How forest has to be protected? How to protect the fauna and flora? And how people are not aware about that. They keep deforestation is quite common in many places because they call it as a civilized society. Actually, civilization is not cutting all the trees in the forest and claiming that you are more civilized. It's not, and nothing is barbaric as well. So what is the importance of forests as a principal conservator of forests? How do you feel that the forest will protect the people and other living creatures in this universe?
Forests as a natural ecosystem has to be sustained, and that mandate has fallen upon the forest department to do. We just tell people two things. Forests give us no direct benefits. I mean, they do, but they are quantifiable and small. But the intangible benefits are immense. They give clean water. And they give clean air. The two things without which life forms cannot exist. We call forests as the overhead tanks, particularly the forests on the hills, as overhead tanks. We get torrential rains during both northeast and southwest monsoons. These forests absorb the water and ensure that there is a gradual release throughout the year.
So the water table also.
The water table goes up. Then these forests sustain these streams which flow down to our reservoirs and sustain the agriculture. We have patches of rocks and hillocks which do not have vegetation. So what happens there is, the minute we have a rainfall, the entire water runs off in a matter of few minutes. We want the water to be soaked in and trapped and then gradually released. This is the major role of forests.
How far government is giving the measures to protect these forests, and in particular about the mountains and the places where more excavations has been done and more damage has been done to the nature? How far government's schemes are protecting all this, and how it has been enforced? Whether there is any problem in executing this, and sometimes some superstitions also work in this. How do you cope up with this?
Luckily, we in India are better off compared to many of our Southeast Asian neighbors or African countries. Our laws are very rigid. We do not have green felling in the forest. That means no natural spontaneous tree in the forest is felled anywhere. We raise plantations. Those plantations are harvested in a systematic manner. So timber comes from there. But no extraction happens from a natural forest. This is one major thing. We have stringent laws. The Forest Act is there. Wildlife Protection Act is there, and we have what is called as Forest Conservation Act. It came in 1980, which regulates the diversion of forest lands for non-forestry uses. It has been made so stringent that it is not lucrative to search for forest lands, that we look for alternatives out. So government here has understood the importance of forests, that this is a landmass which is to be preserved for the lot of benefits that it accruing from that for the larger society, the larger context. So we need to conserve this part. So this part is very clearly understood at the policy level. So this state is lucky to have this kind of rules and regulations very strictly enforced.
There are some endangered species in the forests, and rules are quite strict. And how do you deal with this illegal poachers who enter the forests and destroy these birds or animals, which is termed as endangered? What is your opinion on that?
If I just give you a bit of statistics, 17% of landmass of Tamil Nadu is under forest cover. And if we take tree and forest cover, it is almost 23%. That means almost 1/4 of the land is under good vegetation. That's a positive. Then we have the highest diversity of angiosperms, that is a flowering plants in India. After Northeast, where the diversity of both flora and fauna, if you take together, is higher. But in terms of plant diversity, we have very good. It's one of the biodiversity hotspots, our state particularly. It's a mega biodiversity hotspot, part of Western Ghats. So the type of forest that we have, the type of terrain we have whole range of species, right from high altitude mountain species like Nilgiri Thar to the species of the plain. And we also have the littoral area and the marine area. So the whole range of flora and fauna is available in this state, which is quite a challenge to the forest department to safeguard.
Do you have any special monitoring system?
We do have. Our structure is organized in such a way that we are organized into divisions, ranges, sections and beats. So the beat staff do actual patrolling on the ground. We also use a lot of technology to ensure that people do not venture into forests. There's a good system of support from the local communities or the forest fringe communities, whom we take in our fold as part of eco-development activities and village forest committees. So we have to have their support too.
How are you managing invasives that harm native biodiversity?
Invasives are major threat to our biodiversity. What is happening is the rapid spread. Why a particular species is called invasive? It has large number of seed. That seed has very long viability and it is not exacting. It can thrive in any condition. Okay. That is what makes it to just explode in an ecosystem. And in this process, what happens is they smother all the native vegetation.
Yes.
So the first impact is the biodiversity is impacted because natural regeneration is smothered.
Okay.
Secondly, all the species have a niche requirement. There are herbivores which feed on certain grasses, certain leaves. That availability starts shrinking. Then the type of allelopathic effect which some of these species have, they're ensuring that nothing else grows in that place. So all in combination, they have a severe impact on the biodiversity. Now, in Tamil Nadu particularly, we can proudly say that among all the states of our country, we are the state with the largest removal of invasive. Up to March, I think we have removed more than 40,000 hectares of invasives. Lantana, Prosophis.
Okay.
Now, it is not cheap.
Okay.
These invasives had to be removed manually because largely they are found in areas where we can't take in machinery and remove.
Okay. Quite dense.
They're dense into the forest. Plus, if we allow these machinery, they have an adverse impact on the natural vegetation.
Yes.
So it has to be largely removed manually. Certain places where they're in huge numbers or a whole block, that is where we are using lighter machinery.
Okay.
But in this combination of use of machinery and manpower, we have been able to clear.
Yeah.
But it comes at a huge cost. Now we are trying a viable method that some of these end products which we are recycling, like for instance, a lantana is being converted into briquettes. And those briquettes are sold and that money is also pumped back into the system to remove further amount of lantana. Prosophis, which is another seamaker
seamaker. Yes.
So that has very high calorific value.
Yes.
Southern districts of Tamil Nadu has got extensive industry of charcoal making with that.
Yeah, okay.
Now its removal is easier because there is an economic value which we can get.
Okay.
For certain invasives, we do not get
revenue.
So we have to manage by cross-subsidizing that and ensuring that money is available for further removal.
That's very nice of you, sir. The discussion is quite entertaining and informative. Sir, what are the 3 biggest threats of forests in your division right now? And how are you tackling each one?
There are several threats that the forests face, but if I come down in the order of importance, then the biggest threat would be the damage which is happening by way of fragmentation. So we have this human-animal conflict,
Okay.
which is our major source of concern, and where most of our time is diverted to attend to this. We have burgeoning human populations. We have, thanks to protection, burgeoning animal population too. So the interface is increasing. Now this is causing several conflicts in certain hotspots, certain zones. So tackling them to ensure that both humans are safeguarded, at the same time even animals are safeguarded.
Do you
So it's a challenge.
specify, sir? Do you specify any a method you adopt to safeguard both the humans and the animals? Because sometimes running out of emotion, humans will try to kill the animals which encroach their household or their agricultural fields. And we cannot say anything bad about them because it is their living. And if we go and say that protect the animals, they will say that, do you think that animals are more important than humans? So these type of questions will come in front of you. How do you tackle that, sir?
You actually highlighted all the dilemmas that we face.
Okay.
So it is very much needed that we take care of these animals and also take care of the people. So there is definitely a lot of damage which happens, life lost, property lost, crop damaged. It is hurting the farmers and the people who are living there. The animals are coming out for a variety of reasons, but we need to ensure that both are safeguarded. So it is quite a bit of a challenge, and the methods that we use varies with the species. We have very intelligent species like elephants, where whatever method is tried of trying to keep them away from human habitations, they always devise an alternative. So the methods of even our methods have to continuously be refined, updated and modified to suit that particular situation. We also have issues with other species. We have from wild pig. Then we have now the spread is coming even from peacocks.
Peacocks, yes.
Their numbers are going up. So these are the different kinds of species which in different parts of the state manifest their action, and accordingly different types of treatments are being done. So this is the human-animal conflict.
Okay.
The other important part which we face is the forest fire, which happens in the lean period. In our state, from December to May is a critical time.
December, January and February is supposed to be winter, right?
It is winter, but it's also the dry part.
Dry part, yes.
The monsoon ends in towards December, and then the winter actually dries up the grasses.
Okay.
So in the Western Ghats and all these areas, they become very prone to forest fire. All of them are deliberate.
Okay.
Humans put them for a variety of reasons. One is either an accidental throw of a cigarette butt, or graziers put the fire to ensure that some fresh flush comes for their cattle.
Okay.
So these are the reasons for which the fires are happening. So the department has to take proactive action. Pre-fire season, we have a lot of work. It is not just awareness creation, but also ensuring that the lines are traced, areas are kept clear of the brushwood and other material which could be combustible. So they have to be cleared. And then when actual fire happens, we need to mobilize huge number of manpower and then fight the fires. There is a lot of planning which has to go into that. And then there is a post-fire restoration of an area. So there is a lot of action in that.
Oh, that's fantastic, sir, because you have a wide area of execution. That's really amazing. And then one more thing is the elephants, in particular, when the season is quite dry, water is not available in the midst of the forest. So it comes out to get some water and food. Sometimes it gets stuck between the railway tracks and get hurt. And some farmers, they're very cruel in nature. What they do is they put some electric fences. Do you give any strong instructions, or do you take any effective measures to stop all these farmers who put these electric measures around the fields? What is your opinion?
You have actually highlighted those few issues which we face regularly. Now, particularly with elephants, one thing we need to understand about elephants is it's a migratory species. It moves. It is not stagnant to a particular place. It is designed like that. Because if you see the size of an elephant, unfortunately, it has a very poor digestive tract.
Okay.
Only about 50% of what it eats, it's able to assimilate.
Oh, good. It seems
50%
to
goes
be-
waste,
okay.
which means it has to spend a lot of time foraging. Maybe 16 to 18 hours in a day, it will be foraging. So it has to eat a lot. It has to drink a lot of water.
Okay.
You mentioned that they come out because there is a shortage of water in the forest. Actually, that is not true. All the elephants have traditional migratory movements.
Okay.
There are places which dries up, the water will deplete there. At the same time, those places, the grasses become coarse.
Okay.
So elephants have a migratory plan that they drift towards
Greener pastures.
greener pastures, and they again return back
To the same fold.
So that is a design of nature for a large herbivore,
Okay.
so that they don't destroy a piece of land.
Oh,
It's a natural thing where they move. So in this process, when they move and they drift out towards habited areas, farmers do put electrical wires. That's illegal. But they largely put it for the wild pig.
Okay.
They don't put it deliberately to kill elephants. That's
But
one thing.
unfortunately, it happens.
Unfortunately, it happens.
Okay.
But it is done for the wild pig.
But
That's why
is it legalized?
it is illegal. That is why we have this regular combing action, which is also monitored by the district collectors now.
What is the type of punishment you give it to those people
No,
who are not kind to animals?
No, we have a whole range of punishment regime in the Wildlife Protection Act,
Okay.
up to 7 years imprisonment. So all of them are non-bailable offences.
Okay.
So we need to be very cautious to make people aware that there are stringent punishments for violations.
Okay.
But we have to actually watch out for the patrolling teams. They actually watch out for these electrical lines.
Okay.
What largely happens is a live wire is hooked on to the main line, and that wire is drawn in the night when people are not there.
Oh my God.
So it is this kind of action, so which has to be regularly be checked and prevented. This is one. Then there is a second kind of action which they do. It's called as autukai. There is an explosive device fitted into a small fruit.
Okay.
So the minute the animal bites it, it just shatters its jaw. So this is another mode of. Basically, the farmer is doing this to get rid of a pest which is damaging his crop.
On his side, he thinks that
Yes.
he needs his crops to be protected.
To protect his crop, he does this, but in the process, it's a very cruel act on the
act,
animal.
very cruel act.
So this also we are taking steps.
It's also
There is a
punishable?
joint. Yes, all. Even attempt to hunt is punishable.
Okay. Only for selected species?
No,
or
for all. Hunting is prohibited in
What
this.
I heard is only the deers were protected
No.
under this endangered species.
No. Let me clarify. There are schedules in the Wildlife Protection Act,
Okay.
except for a few species like crow, rock pigeon, few species like that.
Okay.
Other than that, all the other animals are called wildlife, which are not domesticated.
Domesticated.
That category is separate, and the punishments range for depending on the schedule in which they are placed. So Schedule 1 animals are non-compoundable. There is only prosecution to be done.
Okay.
For a few cases, there is a process of compounding or a fine is imposed. But hunting is totally banned in this country,
Okay.
which means it is not just in the reserve forests. Even in areas outside reserve forests, hunting is not permitted.
Oh, fine.
So that's why, like I mentioned initially,
Yes.
we have stringent laws in this country, which is the reason why we have thriving wildlife despite having the largest human population in the world.
That's fine. So the thing is one more question, which is quite different. About 200 to 300 or maximum 500 to 600 years ago, when humans were here in this globe, their primary occupation is go for hunting and then eat and then sleep. And culture, there was no reformation. But only after reformation happened, we follow all these measures. We take so many strict rules and impose so many strict rules and regulations to control and make the environment more beautiful and clean. But do you think that the period which humans were living at that point of time, the environment is not clean? And now because we take so much of measures, do you think that now it is more cleaner than before? That the primitive stage?
We have to take the human demography first. What was the number of humans at that point of time? Population was very less, so the impact wouldn't be felt. There were local issues, local problems which happened in specific places. But overall, nature could heal itself. Now we are in such numbers and our actions also have compounded.
Compounded, yes.
We didn't have plastic then. We were just drinking of the water from the
Mud
stream
pots
and mud pots.
Yes.
We were actually recycling much more then. You will remember as a youngster, we just had one pen.
Yes, exactly.
We would just write with that.
With that.
Today, we do not know the number of pens that we have in our own house.
That too ink pen.
Ink pens. With
Using filler.
With a filler, you used to
Yes.
fill it into that.
Correct.
And limited clothes.
Clothes.
Today, in this age of consumerism and also affluence, we are
yes.
growing in our economic purchasing power.
Yes.
We are becoming richer, which means the aspirations are also increasing, which means we are consuming much more than we actually need,
Yes.
which means we are degrading much more than what we are.
Correct. That's nice. That's fine. Now, in the recent past, maybe about a decade ago, there was a talk all over the country that we all should go organic. And fruits organic, greens organic. And I think that is creating more awareness among the people, but by the use of pesticides and other fertilizers, things are becoming more and more toxic. So let us go for organic. You think that sounds good among the people, and whether it is a good initiative from the people?
It is a good initiative because use of pesticides is more detrimental. But a judicious use of fertilizer would still be required because all these are varieties which have been developed for intensive cultivation.
But how do you, they say that we can compensate with natural fertilizers like
We
that.
can, but we don't have that quantity of farmyard manure. If we see the composition of a farmyard manure has 0.5 to 1% organic matter, this nitrogen, whereas we'll be depleting much more.
Right.
To replenish, we need to put tons of it.
Okay.
We may not get in that quantity.
Okay.
So more useful would be an integrated nutrient management where we judiciously use the various combinations. There are plants which have impact on ensuring that certain types of pests are kept away. So if that is planted on the fringe row, that prevents the infestation. Which means you do not need to apply pesticide to control. So a mix of this kind of thing would be more useful.
That's fine, sir. Recently, I think you would have witnessed this IPL 2026. Whenever a dot ball is found, a sapling has been planted everywhere in this country. Do you think that is also a good initiative?
Yes, it does, because a game which is watched by millions, this is a symbolic gesture which draws attention to the importance of trees. So if any act which draws an attention towards a noble cause is very welcome.
Very welcome. Good, sir. That is very informative, sir. Sir, as we talked earlier about this Sima caruellum species, which destroys the water table totally, and I recently saw a judgment given by a particular judge. A criminal who does some petty crimes, he has been asked to go to a particular place and remove all this Sima caruellum, and that is one sort of punishment. Do you think that this is a very good initiative of judiciary? I feel personally that I appreciate it because it lessens the burden of executives like you. At the same time, a noble cause has been done in the society. What do you think about that, sir?
That type of judgment is at best an indicative thing of telling of the problem. But that cannot be the method by which the large-scale removal of invasive which can happen.
Yes.
But it does highlight the issue and the problem. And it makes people sensitive that, yes, there is a species which is causing enormous damage. So in that context, it is very, very useful.
Okay.
But we know how difficult it is to uproot and then convert and then move them out.
So do you think this plant, the eucalyptus, how far it's good in the places where other crops has been planted? Somebody is saying that the eucalyptus tree sucks more water from the ground and it never allows the other crops to grow next to it. What do you feel about that? Do you think that eucalyptus should not be planted anywhere? Or
there is a lot of controversy regarding eucalyptus, but there is no clear scientific study which says that, yes, this species depletes water table. So there is no specific study at all. It has been described to have what is called as variable physiology. That means if there is more water available, it tends to use more. If there is less water, it can modify its physiology to survive on that lesser water.
Okay.
So that way it can thrive. And in certain pockets where nothing else grows, farmers find it useful to plant it because it gives them economic returns.
Revenue. Right.
But we as in government are against it for a different reason, that it is an exotic.
All right.
It is not a native species.
All right.
So the policy of Tamil Nadu Forest Department is to only plant native species.
Right. Correct.
We do not want to encourage exotics, even though they may be of higher commercial value.
Oh.
So those efforts, we are telling, better to take it to the farmer's field as part of agroforestry
Agro.
and leave the forests to be having only native vegetation, native flora, native fauna.
Native. So that's good. So which tree species are you promoting now to make forests climate resilient for 2050?
Like I said, in our state, the policy is to plant native species.
Okay.
So we have a mixed forest.
Any species in particular?
No, all of them are encouraged.
Okay.
So depending on agroclimatic zone, there are variety of species which need to be planted.
Okay.
Not all thrive in all the places.
Yes.
So we encourage the native species of that agroclimatic zone to come up. Means we are basically ensuring that the biodiversity is maintained.
Okay. So people in the metropolitan cities, they live in apartments. And of course, they miss that green cover because the living lifestyle has changed, and now they have come to the metropolitan cities, lack of space. So they're living in small apartments, and they feel that they miss that green cover. So what is your suggestion? Can they have something greenery in their balconies or in the terrace? What type of plants will be more good for them, which has some good sense and fragrance as well, like that? What is your suggestion?
So now with the lifestyle changes, most people tend to live in these high-rise flats, which means there is a limited space in which plants can be grown, which are usually the balconies.
Okay.
And there is a huge enterprise with a variety of species which have useful, commercial use for the household, plus also for aesthetics.
Okay.
They give fragrance, plus some of them are pollution abating species.
Okay.
So there is a mix of plants which are available, and there are a lot of professional bodies which have which give advice on that.
Whether
and
your
these,
department involves in that, sir?
We do have lists of species which perform specific activities like pollution abatement.
Medicinal plants.
Yes, medicinal plants, pollution abatement, all these. We have species which we can advise people to put in their gardens. And rooftop gardens are becoming quite popular.
Yes. Whether you give saplings free of cost or something like that?
We have a small component of free supply of seedlings, but largely it is done on cost basis.
Payable. Another important question, sir. How can students or citizens meaningfully help with conservation beyond tree planting devices? How do you involve students in this mission?
The department's engagement with the civil society is largely through the students.
Okay.
Because this is a group which is amenable to changes and to advice. An older person generally has rigid views. We find it very difficult to modify that. A younger person is impressionable,
flexible,
and they are willing to listen to you and absorb whatever is being told to them.
Correct.
So our focus has always been on youngsters, school and college students. So we have this Department of Environment has this green school concept. Then from the Forest Department too, we engage with all the schools for taking them into the forested areas. There is a new scheme which is there, in which visitation to the forests is covered. Then we involve them in all our activities.
Do you encourage students to do internships that way?
We don't have much of internship programs of that sense, but we do definitely engage them in part of the Green Corps. In that, our field staff regularly engage with the schools, and those students do visit the protected areas which are closest to them, where some awareness is being given.
Do you have any programs for the college students, sir? Do you
Yes,
have any?
a similar thing is available for the school
Because
and college
in
students.
colleges you have NSS,
Yes.
National Social Service. So they have this, what you call, they go give some awareness regarding deforestation,
Yes.
and then how it is healthy to have good plants around you and all that stuff. So do you have any program to come to colleges and encourage and make the students to learn about forests and how the forests are more important to protect this environment? Do you have any specific programs that way?
Like I said, these awareness
For colleges
creation
in particular.
programs for schools and colleges is our focus.
Okay.
So we do it for both. So there is a lot of activity,
Yes, sir.
not just for forestry, for wildlife matters, pollution abatement, a variety of the
Programs
are
okay.
there.
Yeah, specific department is a section is allowed in your.
No, it's part of our regular activity of engagement with all the stakeholders.
Sir, can you share one or two success stories where planted areas now support native wildlife?
There are several patches of forests which were degrading, and there are several examples all over the state
Okay.
where intensive effort of afforesting, again with the support of local communities,
Okay.
because it is easy to plant, but we need to ensure the protection of those
Protection of
planted
those
seedlings
plants,
so that
yes.
they grow into trees,
Yes.
which means a sustained support is needed of
Support
the local
system,
communities.
yes.
So together with them, we have created a large number of these forests. The best example would be our mangroves.
Oh.
We have done a remarkable job in the last 4 or 5 years now
Oh.
of planting into degraded forests,
Ah.
degraded areas, and creating new mangroves.
Okay. So how drones are helpful to protect from these poachers and other people who encroach the forest or enter the forest and kill many animals or destroy more valuable trees? How drones technology help you?
We are using drones extensively for the human-animal conflict, as well as for our survey and demarcation
Surveillance.
area.
Okay.
These two purposes.
Okay.
But the extensive use is in the human-animal conflict, because we have these thermal drones which are sent up in these conflict areas where you actually can't see the animal in that darkness. But their heat signature is recognized by these drones, and they help our staff to channelize these animals back into the forest.
So sensor systems has been
Yes.
used. Okay.
So the heat signature is recognized by the thermal drones.
Okay.
So that's extensively being used.
So funds has been provided to the
Yes.
department.
Yes. So a lot of these modern technologies are assisting the foot soldiers of ours, the
Okay.
guards.
Do you have that required staff to support all these programs, sir?
Yes, we have now recruited and almost filled up all our vacancies. So
How
that
do you
way we are
encourage
quite
the
comfortable.
youngsters to come up to take up this forest service? What is the mode they need to do to take up this forest service?
They need to clear those exams.
Exams, okay.
So for IFS, they'll have to clear the UPSC.
UPSC.
Then for the SFS and the Rangers and Foresters, the TNPSC conducts
separate
exams.
exam is there.
So it's a science stream, students who are eligible to join the Forest Service. A very challenging but a very exciting service.
One personal question to you, sir. You are an IFS person, and did you specifically ask for this IFS, or you from IAS you shifted to IFS or something?
No, it was the first choice.
First choice.
Yes.
Because
I love wildlife. I love
Okay.
trekking.
okay.
One of the few services in which you are paid to walk in the forest and trek.
Oh, you trek. Oh, that's nice of you. So trekking is quite interesting, no? That's in the forest, because even I love that, because basically I'm an English literature student, so I love this forest, nature, and all that stuff. So that is a good thing.
We
So
have an extensive trekking program in Tamil Nadu.
okay.
You just go to trektamilnadu.com.
Do you have that respect protection?
Yes,
all
Trek
this?
Tamil Nadu is the website.
Oh.
You could just go into that and just check.
Is it
There are more than 40 routes which are available. All are curated treks.
Okay.
We have trained local persons
Okay.
who take you and explain the forest and safely show you bring you back.
Okay. That's
It's
fine.
becoming quite popular.
It's good, sir, because it will make the stress out. It may be also a stress buster
Yes.
for all the youngsters, particularly who work in software companies. They can have your program, no? That is very highly informative, because it is a very big stress buster and make you healthy physically, mentally, and all that. That's very nice. And do you have any initiative to protect this marshlands around the city?
Yes.
Oh.
So we have a state wetland authority and we have a state wetland mission too. So it's the job of this authority to ensure that the marshland character is maintained.
Okay.
And they are all notified.
But most of the time we read in newspapers and it comes in the news that it has been encroached. How do you deal with this?
Now there is a Supreme Court order which has told us to identify they've given a list of wetlands in each state. There are over or close to 29,000 wetlands which have been identified in our state.
Okay.
So these wetlands have to be first ground truthed and then boundary demarcated.
Okay.
So this is a stage at which we are. Maybe in future we will notify the ones which are of vital ecological importance.
Ecological importance, yes. Because these marshlands give more support for the birds which migrate from one country to another country. And there are many hunters who secretly hunt the birds and kill it, and it is really painful. Ornithologists are very much worried about that. And do you have any specific program for the
We have, like
migratory birds?
Tamil Nadu's large portion of wetlands comes under the Central Asian Flyway.
Okay.
It's a very important flyway for species from up from Siberia. We have species which come here.
Yes.
So when such is the importance of our wetland, so protecting them too is very important. That's the reason why 20 wetlands have been notified under Ramsar, which is the highest in the country.
Oh, fine. Okay.
There are around 100 wetlands which are notified in all over the country, and 20 are from Tamil Nadu, which is the highest in the country.
Excellent, sir. So it's a very informative, very interesting, very enthusiastic discussion, sir. And I'm very happy that we are very honored to have you in the studio. And really, it's a pleasure talking to you, sir. And I hope the people, the listeners, would be more benefited out of this discussion. Thank you very much for the studio.
Thank you. It was indeed a pleasure for me too.
Thank you, sir.
And that was Shri Srinivas Reddy, IFS, the Principal Chief Conservator of Forests and Head of Forest Force, talking to us on forest conservation and biodiversity. He was interviewed by Dr. R. Elangovan, Vice Principal and Professor, A.M. Jain College, Chennai. This program came to you from the studios of Akashvani, Chennai.